Alright, my whole head is in the picture. Fix his bangs right quick. And now we can talk. Alright guys, I am back, and so I did make it to the movie on time. And I just want to give my quick reactions to the movie. A couple of takeaways for me as a human, as a black woman and as a creative, as a singer. And I feel like I can share those without it being a spoiler for those people who plan on going to see it. Whitney Houston's voice was out of this world. Is an understatement. Her talent was just crazy. There are so many things that she attained. She was, to many, the greatest voice of our time. She still dealt with comparison. I was shocked. I shouldn't have been, because she was human. And we all are human. We all deal with insecurities at different times. But the simple fact that she dealt with comparing her voice to other artists. The fact that she gave herself pep talks by downing other artists. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's what was shown. And it's a human thing. I'm sure many of you have had moments like that. I've had moments like that, whether they were verbalized to someone else or not. Times where I compared myself to someone else. Or I never wanted someone else's voice, but there have been times where I had to talk myself into believing that my gift was good enough to be received compared to someone else. But the simple fact that someone like her, with her voice, she still dealt with comparison. She still lost sleep over her gift, her talent, her presentation being compared to other people's. She still lost sleep over that. Whitney Houston. Something else that stood out to me is just how brutal we can be. The judgments that we pass, and how freely and without any type of apprehension we talk about people's lives. Sometimes it's a simple tweet meant to be funny, but the devastating effect that it can have. And people always say, it comes with the territory, it's fame, but just as a person and then as a Christian, it really is highlighted to me again how easy it is to fall into gossip and not feel bad about it at all when it comes to a celebrity, someone who we may never see in person, someone who we may never have a personal conversation with, someone who may never hear what we said, see what we tweeted. It's just, the impact can be devastating. And just to see how flippantly things were said about her by other influential people, but then with the same mouth, praising her for her voice. It was heartbreaking, but at the same time, it was really, a privilege to get to see some of the background of her life from childhood all the way up until the day she died. Another thing that stands out to me as a person who aspires to do more music and potentially do more touring, and the possibility of being a parent at that time in life, the impact of that life on a child, especially if the parent is not in a position to make sound decisions about who to leave their child with. The impact is... Please go see it, especially if you are a creative, someone who is an aspiring artist and you want to travel. It really reiterates the cliche that we hear people say, you need to know yourself before you get out there like that. It's true. For some people who maybe it's taking longer for you to get to where you're trying to go or do what you're trying to do with it, don't waste that time comparing yourself to someone else. Don't waste that time wishing you were in the spotlight, because the spotlight is not what it seems. It's not what it seems. And you may say, well, you don't know, you've never been out there like that. But I've seen enough to know that if you don't know yourself, if you don't have a grasp on your true purpose, why God placed you in the earth in the first place, fame and money will eat you alive, along with the people that are close to you. And then if you don't have the right people around you, Lord, I mean, just go see the movie. I knew when I saw that it was coming out that I would go see it. I think the first talent show I ever sang in, I sang Whitney Houston's rendition of One Moment in Time. I was a little girl when she was rising to the heights of who she became. I wasn't even really aware of all who she was, but you know, my mom sings, and she's the one who started me with listening to music and stuff, so she chose the song for me to sing. It was a Whitney Houston song. It was appropriate for someone my age, and it wasn't a gospel song, but it was inspirational. It was close enough to being appropriate to sing in the school talent show. That was my first real experience with Whitney Houston. And then, of course, as I got older, I started to know who she was. And she wasn't like my idol growing up, but a lot of the singers that I loved growing up, gospel and not gospel, they all loved Whitney Houston. She impacted everyone else that I knew that sang. Seeing, you know, how out of this world her gift was, and to see the process of what happened in her life. It's tragic. But what I hope comes from this is that there will be a lot more attention paid to the underlying implications of someone's background and their current mental health. I am, you know, impacted by the movie in a good way to continue going the route that I'm going, not just as an artist, but as a woman of God, someone who works in, is still studying, and has a great love for the field of mental health, specifically surrounding the life of a creative person. And then even more specifically, a creative person in the church, or a creative person that comes out of the church, comes from the church, because that's me. And that's who Whitney Houston was. I'm inspired by the movie to continue focusing on, first and foremost, knowing who made me and why he put me here, and seeking him, getting to, you know myself, knowing that, you know, no one's perfect. I will still make mistakes. I will still have moments where I need to be reminded of who I am. I'm sure of that. But if nothing else, I walk away from this, I'm grateful for my own journey instead of comparing it to someone else's. And also, just being humbled to know that God gives us gifts to use, and we can choose to give those, not only those gifts to him, but when we come to a space of understanding that there's troublesome things that have happened in our backgrounds, or things that we struggle with currently, that we can choose to take those things to God, that we can be proactive about getting help. And that also, not just on the level of what I can do for me and what you can do for you, we can be a true community for a creative soul. Because a creative person is just a conflicted person in so many ways. No matter how healthy you are as a creative person, there's some type of inner conflict you're dealing with. So I hope that we all can be inspired to really be more of a community, more of an avenue of helping each other be healthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spending more time helping to cultivate each other's gifts, spending more time helping to disciple, each other, as opposed to competing with each other or comparing ourselves to each other, or, being jealous, being bitter, being spiteful, being a hater, or being insecure, being timid, hiding, putting our gifts down because they don't seem to stack up to this one or that one. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say about the movie. Go see the movie. It's cool hanging out with y'all today. Glad to be back, vlogging and such. I have a little bit over a month of my break left now that my summer class is over. I intend to come to you more often, at least once a week. But like I said, you may get more than that, but I want to commit to at least once a week. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button now and give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It's good to see you again, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.